Okay, so for this tutorial, we're going to look at what happens when you lose your foreground and have nothing to track to stabilize your camera. So we're going to extend the camera so it actually flies a little bit over the edge and continues going out into the open air. I feel like I could have worded that better. I didn't like the structure of that sentence. We're going for it. I'm going to try and first take this tutorial. With that being said, let me track this. I've tracked as much as I need for this tutorial. Ideally, put some more points. There's some more scuff marks on the rails over here. Yeah, find some points over here if you can. This is kind of tricky because these are fake points. But, you know, see what you can do. Alright, so I'm going to get into solving this and just see what I come up with. Because I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure yet. But the goal is to solve it, make sure the camera flies over the edge. So I'm just going to turn on distortion and hit go. And let's see what happened if I hit F3 to look at the lens. I don't think I like how this feels. Let's go into lens tab. And I'm going to make a line right here. Yeah, I don't like, see, that should be in line with this, assuming that the rail is straight. So I'm going to turn off calculate, and I'm going to manually drag the distortion up, and you can see that we are warping everything, including the line. So I'm going to make sure that the line sits right there. If you need it to go slower, hold control. Shift and control will speed up spinners in SYNTHEYES. So I'm going to leave it right there. Calculate is off. And yeah, I'm just going to go back to solver, F2, and resolve with that. Also, I might as well switch into refine. There we go. So, what do we have? This looks pretty decent. But you can see that our foreground turns into crap. Bam. Garbage. So, one thing. These points are so far and not all of them are solving. I'm going to tell a couple of these points that they are just super far away, just to see if I could trick some of these into solving. So I'm going to select two that are kind of in line with my camera, because when the camera pushes in, there's technically no real depth to calculate these points. So I'm going to select these two at the center and hope that the rest of these kind of do something I like. Far. Hey, look. Okay, well, we lost these three, but we gained those three, and they're kind of more spread out, so I like that more. Alright, so how do we fix the foreground? Let's look at that foreground again. Yeah, it's really bad. Okay, so let's first do a quick orientation of this scene. Just so I can get my horizon line somewhere that's kind of nice and put some geometry that we have to work with. So let's see if I can do some lines on the brick here. I don't need this line anymore. I'm going to select it. Oh, by the way, I clicked in the thin air because for some reason you can't select the distorted line. You have to imagine where it was if it's not distorted, or, you know, kind of grab it at the sides. So I'm going to delete it with backspace, and let's put down some real lines. Add line. Let's see. There's not a whole lot to work with. Let's make this our on Z. Get a parallel to Z here. I'm accounting for that little slope here, so I'm dragging it out like this. I'm not going to go that much further into it. Let's get along. Oh, we can get a really nice X line on the railing. On X. And let's get our parallel, maybe on the brick, maybe this, maybe this. Yeah, wait, let's just get this. What am I talking about? I'm going to drag this out, parallel, pull this way over here. Ooh, okay, something somewhere is uneven. I assume the rails are, let's put this on one rail. I assume that there's a slight slope going on here. So let's pretend that one link of rail is somewhat straight. These things are pretty warped, actually. That's fine. It's fine. It's not going to harm us. So with that, I'm going to go F3 and hit a line, and hopefully this horizon line jumps up here. Hey! You'll notice I did that with 2 lines. Usually it's nice to have all three axis lines, but you don't need a third. You can get away with 2. But it is definitely a lot more accurate if you get a third axis. We just don't have any Y lines here. So back here, our horizon line, it looks pretty good. A little low over here, but that could be due to a number of reasons. The likely reason is that this thing is sloped as a whole, so our horizon line's a little bit low. But it's okay, we're not going to worry about that. If you wanted to, just go rotate and just manually tweak this with the 4 view. Oh, okay. I clicked full screen. Where is that? This here? Nope, it's on this side. There we go. I'm just going to do it now that I've spent time coming over here. I'm going to try and keep this side down, so I'm going to rotate from here. Oh. Okay, well, not what I was expecting. But whatever, let's bring that side up a little bit. There we go. I lifted it ever so slightly. Okay, and now let's just make some simple geometry. We'll go with a plane for the foreground and bring that over to the edge. And let's make a cylinder. Also, let's hit the pipe key, make that wireframe. So let's go to this view. Okay, I dragged out a cylinder at kind of an awkward angle, but whatever. Wow, I got lucky with those points. Wow, I almost nailed that scale. This looks great. I'm going to have to move that when I scrub. But yeah, for now it looks great. Let's bring it over here. And I'll go scale. What, on X? Nope. Z? Nope. Okay, whatever that middle one is. Oh, it's the Y. It's the Y on the cylinder. Duh. The divisions, I'm going to drop those down a little bit so I can see. Bring that up. Okay, so we're going to use that cylinder so we can, okay, you can see how I got to push it forward a little bit. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's good for what we're doing. So we want this to float off nicely, and also the camera's just got to continue on straight in a very clean manner. Okay, so hopefully you have watched my last tutorial talking about the graph editor a little bit, because I'm going to go through that, but I'm not going to go into detail. So I'm going to hit F7. Oh, wait, actually, wait, sorry. I'm going to select I'm kind of happy with this layout, so I want some of these points to preserve their position when we solve. So I'm going to select some of these that I like. Maybe one here. Actually, no, the rail points. So I selected a few points around the scene that I want to make sure are locked, so that when I solve or do anything in the future, hopefully the camera doesn't do some whole new layout, so it continues to line up with this geometry. So with those points selected, I'm going to go to trackers, come to seed and lock. I've talked about this. We want to get coordinates for each point here, but every point has a value of 0. So we come down to the bottom, hit set seed. So it doesn't look like anything there, but that's because multiple are selected. So I'm going to go lock, and there we go. All these points. Now if I select them, they have their own position currently where they are sitting, and they are locked. So now I can do what I want without worrying about any changes. I'm going to hit F7, bring up my graph editor, and take a look at the solved path. So this looks like hot garbage. You can see where it snaps off in a horrifically gruesome manner. If I go to F4, take a wow. Yeah, look at how extreme that camera move is. Yeah, okay. So let's correct that. We are just going to assume, let's close that for now. We're just going to assume that our camera is floating out into space forever. So to do this quickly, I'm going to hit F7 again, open that up, and we're going to blast out all this bad animation. I hit the minus thing at the bottom here. You can add keys, remove keys. You can move them up, down, or left and right. Or you can come over to the deglitch tool and you can deglitch certain spikes if you want. And this thing over here isolates stuff, but it's not really meant for this view. So I'm going to go back to delete, highlight all this garbage. Also, I'm going to turn off this color coding. The green and the gray, like the background will change color based on how many trackers you have. But for now, it's kind of blinding. I'm going to turn it off. And let's remove the rest of these. There we go. So let's take the Z, and we want the path to just keep going out into space. Clearly our camera's pushing forward on Z, so let's have the camera keep going. I'm going to add the plus. Let's go to the end and try to straighten this out as much as we can. I'm okay with that. And let's look at what the Y and the X are doing. If I try to click the hands, I'm not really scaling things very well because the Z is so big. I'm going to hide the Z and now double click the hands. Here we go. So our camera's kind of doing a pretty standard kind of a up-down motion. Something I'd kind of like to try is, and something I'd want to make you aware of is, you could shape this and kind of continue that motion if you want. Whoop, okay. And don't, oh my goodness, when you double click keyframes, that comes up for more precise values. So yeah, I'm doing this very, very roughly. Also, I'm going to take this magnifying glass, drag the magnifying glass here, and then you can scale it, or the hands will move your stuff so you can arrange it. Whoop, okay. I'm going to take this one so I don't highlight any more points in there. Back to plus. And this one, I'm going to do this one really fast. Let's block in the main hills. All right, so we have this, and we have our Z. I can't tell any motions. I'm not going to worry about adding in anything natural or organic there. So with all that added, let's hide the Z just so we can watch this when it smooths because it's more apparent. I'm going to go to Solver, Filtering Control. Whoop. SYNTHEYES likes to hide some windows when you hover. I think you can turn that off. I just don't typically care. So within the path filtering, I'm going to go X, Y, Z. And this is probably a bit too much smooth for a shot like this. Handhelds, the default values are kind of harsh. Yeah, maybe I'll go up to like 8 or something. Not very much. Probably won't mean much. So apply. Okay, so yeah, we got a pretty decent smooth on here. I don't like the last frame, so let's go and fix this. Very rough. I don't like doing fixes like that. And let's remove that key and this key just to reduce some of the error that you might have had within your last 2 frames. Okay. So we've created a path going forward, and we've kind of made our organic thing on the other thing, and I don't know. Let's reset the filter. We don't want to use that anymore. And we are in refine. Let's go constrain on, and we're going to go axis locks. Make sure we're on the first frame for this because this stuff animates. I'm going to go position, and we're going to get this path loaded into seed path. Okay. And let's close this. Close this, and actually no, let's hit solve now. I'm gonna hit solve now. Oh no, it didn't work. SYNTHEYES, what did you, wait, what? The geo hit itself. Why? Oh, I see why. When I undo, look at the world size over here. It's 100. But when I solved, it did its job, but SYNTHEYES did a new scale over here. So world size is this crazy absurd number. I'm going to make it, I don't know, like, let's go 500. There we go. Oh my god, I almost panicked there. With that all done, oh, let's move the ground down a little bit. Sure. So with that done, before I hit play, let's hit this with a matrix. Maybe about this big. Drag it up, try to be as uniform as you can. I wish you can just bring in a uniform grid. Okay. Let's see if this worked. And then see what problems we have to fix with it. Please, please. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. Look at that. So this is a very, very handy thing to know that nobody teaches. So yeah, now you know. But let's just see something real quick. I just want to mention that if you notice that your rails do anything silly, like I don't have the best fit here anyway, but if you saw something like maybe this pops around, you might have to go into F7 and just look at your path, and if you need, let's hide this out. Like you can totally do the grab tool, and you can see I'm dragging around that pipe. I can drag it up and down, trying to fit that pipe better to the edge. And you can do some little manual adjustments here, and you can clear some of your spikes, try to smooth it out. So that's something that might have to happen. It's not too hard, but yeah. Alright, well, this tutorial was a first take, and I'm very happy about that. It's a little all over the place at sometimes, but you know, we're kind of getting there. I'm getting better at doing these. I'm having more fun. And yeah, hopefully this helped you out. Enjoy your next shot that you got to track. Wow, I was doing good until the end here. All right, wipe up the stupid logo. All right, I'll see you.